Hello everybody! Today we are going to be playing Mars Horizon. Mars Horizon is another space game, just like Kerbal Space Program, except it's a completely different genre. It's more of a space agency simulator rather than a rocket tester and rocket launcher. And so without further ado, let's get started. So there's different countries you can play as, and each gets different agency bonuses, and they're all friendlies with the other countries differently. They have different alliances and different competitors. And so, like, ESA is an intergovernmental organization of 22 member states. The European Space Agency is dedicated to the peaceful exploration of space. So, like, ESA is about, like, making friends with everybody and just trying to do joint missions and just make sure everybody can get to space and scientific progress can be made no matter what. We have NASA, the United States of America's civilian space program, established to advance space science and technology. And so NASA is obviously the American space program, and it's more about competing and trying to be the first one into space and to complete different milestones. There's the Soviet Union, the National Space Program of the Soviet Union, tasked with furthering the exploration of space. And so they get some interesting bonuses, like invalid launch windows becoming suboptimal launch windows, which means there's never a time that they can't launch. And that can definitely help at some points, but at other points, not so much. And we have China, the space program of the People's Republic of China, responsible for the planning and development of space activities. And so they get other things, like everything is pretty cheap. And then Japan, the National Japanese Space Program, responsible for conducting space research and exploration. And so they're sort of about science and stuff. And so, because I am from America, I'm going to start with NASA. And we're just going to see what we can do for there. And so I'll probably do a couple playthroughs. I'll probably do at least one playthrough with each country. And then if you can see the customized space agency here, where you can change the traits and who you're friendly with and the appearance, like flags and stuff. But for now, I'm not going to do that. And so yeah, that's something I'll do eventually. And let me know if this is a game you guys might want to see streamed or you are interested in seeing more of. I'd love to get any feedback or criticism. And then next up, we have the difficulty. Because I've played quite a bit of this game, I'm going to be playing on veteran difficulty. I've played the demo quite a few times, and when the game came out, I started playing it a bit. I played it pretty much all of yesterday, and I got pretty far in the game. So I feel like I know what I'm doing enough to play veteran. And with that, we are going to start the game. Welcome, Director. The space race has begun. Staying ahead of the pack will require unprecedented feats of engineering and no shortage of daring. Your role is to develop our space program, leading us into orbit and beyond. Keep our agency at the forefront of space science and inspire generations to come with our triumphs. Humans will one day set foot on another planet. Make sure we get there first. Good luck, Director. And then I'm actually going to disable the tutorial because I already know how to play. But usually, the first thing you want to do is you want to come here and get the test launch mission going. Building a sounding rocket. Sounding rockets are very simple. You don't get to choose anything about them. It's just the upper stage and the booster. But we can change the name of this. And so we are going to call this... I don't know. We'll call it SR1 for Sounding Rocket 1. And then... we've only have a 20% reliability, but that'll increase as we get better, and that's still pretty good to start. So we're going to go ahead and build this vehicle. We're going to return to the solar system, and we also need to start our research. One thing to start researching is the small launch pad. And so we need a launch pad to take off, obviously, and so that's why we need to get that going. And then that is all we can do for now. If we go here, we have our base where we can see different things that we can do. We only have this little area to build with, but as we place other buildings down, you'll see we can get adjacency bonuses. Like the adjacency bonus we get for the vehicle hangar is plus 10 science per month when it's next to the headquarters. And we have a diplomacy tab so we can see who we're competing against. Like right now we're competing against the Soviet Union and we're friendly with ESA. So because we're competing with the Soviet Union, we get more funds because our support group wants us to win the race. They want us to be first, so we get more funds for that. And we get extra science income from being friendly with ESA because it's like we're sharing our science together. And so just like that, we're going to, since we have the research set, we're going to progress to the next month. Okay, nothing really happened this month, so we're going to go again. And here, the small launchpad research is complete. Launchpads are an essential service structure for launch vehicles, allowing maintenance work and providing data about the vehicles ahead of launch. And we also have finished our sounding rocket. SR1. Our engineers have reported that launch vehicle construction completed without any notable issues. And so sometimes you can get bonuses here or you can get negatives. This one went with no effect. But then we move on to our launch preparations, which we don't actually have a small launch pod yet, so we can't complete this yet. So if we return here, return to the solar system, we can go to our base and build a small launch pad. Launch pads, oh yeah, I already read that. Okay. And so here, we're going to build the small launch pad. See, there's negative adjacency bonuses you can get too if we place it next to the HQ. Like, we'll get less payload reliability. But we don't want that, so instead we're just going to try to get the adjacency bonus from the, I guess, the hangar or the construction building. And so if we place it next to that, we'll get -2 vehicle build time, and that'll help just speed things up as we go along. And so we're going to leave that to construct, return here. Our active mission, we can't do anything yet, even though we have the view plan. We still have to wait just a bit. And then research. Next up, we're probably going to want to research the artificial satellite mission so that once we complete the test launch, we can go right on and start the artificial satellite. And so small launch pad completes in 1 month. Moving forward. Okay, small launch pad is complete, and this will allow the launch of small vehicles. Active missions now. Now that we have the test launch and we actually have a launch pad, we can set a launch date. And so eventually there will be trainings we can get that will, the further we delay, the better bonus our training will get. But because we don't have those unlocked yet, we can just go right ahead and start as soon as possible, which will be next month in May. And eventually, on that calendar, we'll be able to see when other agencies are launching their missions so that we can plan to either beat them, or if we're not trying to beat them, we can plan to go after them when it'll be most reliable for our launch. And so, with that being said, we are going to progress to the next month. And so, look, now you can see here, everybody's launching at different times. So, we're launching now, China's launching in 5 months, the Soviet Union is launching in 6 months, and everybody else is actually launching in 6 months too, like ESA and Japan. And so now we can go to the launch vehicle, and we get put into our mission control, where we can see the launch pad with our sounding rocket on it. So this is the launch day of the SR1. And so right here, you can see there were adequate conditions, which means it's going to help a little bit, but not much. We have a 21% launch reliability, which means a 21% that it's either a launch success or a positive event. There's a 59% chance that there's a negative event, which means we'll still get the launch success, but an error occurs causing damage, and we'll lose a bit of science or a bit of support. And then there's a 20% chance of a critical failure, which is the rocket will just blow up in the sky, and we won't get any rewards for that. And so, since we have adequate conditions, there's a chance it gets worse, and we just want to get this out as soon as possible. We're going to continue and begin the launch.
4, 3, 2, 1.
And we have liftoff.
We have liftoff.
Nope, it looks like that they said that there too. This is actually the first time I've played with NASA. When you play as one of the other countries, you get the countdown in a different language. And we made it to space. Let's see what happened. So it looks like we made it all the way just to barely in the positive effect range, which is good. That means we get a secure launch with no mission effect, no negative event. And because we've used this rocket more, we get more experience and launch reliability with it. So it's more likely to go well in the future too. And we were the first one to achieve this milestone, so we get extra support for that. And that'll help. So we get 120 support and 200 science for 1 month. So that'll help us like research the next science. And so just like that, there's nothing else we can really do this month. We have nothing to build, no more missions, and so we are just going to wait and progress our science. Artificial satellite research complete, an essential first step in any space program. The first agency to launch a satellite into a stable orbit around Earth will take a prominent early lead in the space race. And so obviously we want to get that. And we have also reached Era 1, the dawn of spaceflight. As rocket technology advances, so does the prospect of exploring beyond the confines of our planet. Yet the public continue to question whether the fledgling agencies can overcome the dangers of spaceflight. And we have unlocked the moon. We can't do anything with the moon yet, but eventually we'll be able to do a lunar orbit and a crewed moon landing. And we have requests here as well. And so what we're going to do is set new research for the payload Explorer. And so we should get that next month. We have plenty of science left over. And with that, we can continue. Yep, Explorer research complete. A small, simple satellite capable of transmitting basic scientific data back from space. And so just like that, we have Explorer complete. Now, if we wanted to continue researching missions, we could go to research the lunar orbit or the animal in space. What we're going to do is the sounding rockets can't actually launch that payload into orbit, so we need to research these other boosters and upper stages to be able to successfully put it into orbit. So we're going to start with the Vanguard booster. And then we're going to, since we have the payload complete, we can now start the mission for the artificial satellite. And so we're going to plan the mission. Any of these will work. Since it's early game, and I expect it'll be quite easy to get the bonus objective, I could just build the prototype to get reduced build costs, but it will also reduce the payload reliability. And the other types is standard, which does nothing. The comms, which it's improved communication module, which means you're more likely... Yeah, so the higher rating of a module, the more resources it will generate. But we don't really need that. There's the prototype, and then there's power, which will do increased power, but it'll also increase the build cost. Since it's pretty early, we don't really need the increased power. You'll see what power does once we launch this vehicle. So we're going to go with the prototype for now. We're going to select a payload and build the payload for 50K. And now that will be completed in 2 months. Because we have the Vanguard researching too as well. We can do that. Another thing, if we didn't want to start that right away, we could complete the second mission. But we're gonna wait on that. Yeah. And then continue. We don't quite have the Vanguard yet. So now our Explorer will complete. And boom, Vanguard research complete. A small liquid fuel rocket designed for launching basic satellites into low Earth orbit. And that's what we're doing. We're just launching a satellite and trying to get it to orbit the Earth. And the artificial satellite payload is complete. So the Explorer prototype. An advanced module was implemented to increase data acquisition, yet the payload will place increased demands on the launch vehicle's structural design. So we get extra plus 25% science reward, but we have also plus 25% vehicle build cost, so the vehicle will be more expensive. That's fine since we went with the prototype anyways, so basically we're just going to be getting more science out of this, which is always good for helping further the space exploration. And so our payload reliability is 45%, which is pretty good, and now we will design the vehicle for this. And so, designing new, you'll see now we have to choose upper stage and a booster, and we get to name it again. But the upper stage, we don't actually have any of these researched. But the one we are going to research is the Viking. So we're going to select that. And we will also be researching... Or we already have the Vanguard research. So we can select that as well. And so now, there's not really much we can do yet because we can't build it. We're gonna name this the Low Earth Orbiter. Yeah, Low Earth. No. Let's trying to think of a name, but I don't really have any. Let's go with Satellite Earth Orbiter. Satellite Earth Orbiter 1. So the SEO1. And confirm, but we need to research the vehicle build parts right here. So we're gonna get that researching. It should be complete next month. Until then, we can't really do much, so we have to wait till next month. Viking research complete. A small upper stage capable of lifting only basic satellites into low Earth orbit. And there we go. And now that we have that complete, we can build the vehicle. And that'll be complete in 2 months. And so if we wanted to see where other competitors are, we can click on artificial satellite. And so as we can see, they have all the science unlocked, but they don't have the mission planned like we do. So we have the mission in planning stages. And okay, now we have more research we can do. Now we could go either for lunar orbit or for the animal in space. But one thing that could also help us out is if we research the mission control building so we can get one additional mission slot going. But in order to get to the mission control, we need 2 of these 3. And so there's the research lab, which will unlock the mission training for science, the rocket test pad, which will unlock the mission training for launch reliability, and the spacecraft assembly facility, which unlocks mission training for payload reliability. And so launch reliability is really important, especially early game. So we're going to start with the rocket test pad. And then, so that's going to be researching while this completes in 2 months. So we're just going to fast forward. China finally completed their test launch, second. And so, like, we are well ahead of everybody. China only just finished. We finished a couple months ago, so we're already well ahead on our way to getting the artificial satellite. And then all the other countries are only launching this month. And so we are, once again, next month. And the SEO1 is complete. So vehicle structure stability is performing above projected levels, yet there have been some last minute issues with the payload's comm system. So we got plus 10% launch reliability, but minus 10% payload reliability. And that can be quite difficult sometimes, but we'll be able to deal with it. Ooh, our payload reliability is only 35%. So that means since we took the I wish we had mission training so we could train to increase that reliability. And that's because we took the prototype. So that was a risk that we took for a cheaper price. And we might pay for it. But for now, we just have to launch. And we will be able to launch next month in January. Confirm mission setup and go to solar system. And so as you can see here, we have a funding review soon and the launch next month. So this is our budget review in January of 1958. Your agency's performance over the last 12 months has been reviewed and your budget has been adjusted accordingly. So because we succeeded on the test launch, our budget has been improved and now we get more money per month. And the next one is next year in January at the same time. And our rocket test pad research is also complete. A rocket test pad will allow further and more vigorous vehicle engine tests, resulting in more reliable launches. Okay, let's go with that. And so now we are launching our artificial satellite. And it's good we're launching now because China is launching in 9 months. So if we launch mission. And here we are. The launch day of the SEO1. So we have adequate conditions again, which will help our launch reliability. That is good. We would like to try to get a positive event so that it can hopefully make up for the low payload reliability we have. But for now, we're just going to launch.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And there we go. We are off the launch pad. And we have made it! Let's hope there was no negative events. It's going to be very difficult if we had one. Nope, we made it good. And so there's a neutral effect, which it's going to be tough, but we can still do it. So we are going to continue. And our boosters in upper stage get more reliable. And so this is one of my favorite parts. Here we are in low Earth, or we're not in orbit yet, but we're trying to achieve orbit. And so now we have to collect different modules by putting in different commands. And so our goal is to get 2 of each thing. But if we want the bonus reward, we need 3 of each thing. And so one thing to start with is just getting 1 of each of these. We're going to confirm those commands. And we made it successful for the signal return test. And we made it successful for the visual data collection. And so you can see the little animations here. And so now that we completed both of those successfully, we could just do atmospheric sampling and data transmission. And we would get the bonus objectives complete. But if we do that, we won't have any power to resist if they go wrong. And so you haven't seen what happens if they go wrong, but I'm sure it'll happen since we have such low reliability. And so I'm going to recharge this turn to get the power back up to 4. And so now that we've done that, we can do a data transmission and atmospheric sampling. Of course, it goes perfect. I know it's probably not the best idea to say this, but I hope the next one goes wrong so I can show what it's like. And there we go. It did. Just barely did, but it did. And so this is what happens. A camera shutter failure. An electrical malfunction of the camera has resulted in reduced data generation. This command's output will be reduced by 1 data module unless you spend a power to resist. And so this is what you need the extra power for. If we resist, we still get the full effect. But if we were to not resist, it would cost us 1 of those data modules. So we're going to resist that just so we complete the mission objective and get the 50% bonus reward. And just like that, everybody in Mission Control is celebrating. There we go. Artificial satellite, we were the first to achieve it. And we get the bonus rewards, which gets us up to 240 and 300 science for 2 months. That 300 science for 2 months is really going to help us. Because we currently don't have any research set, but we will need to. So first, we're going to research the spacecraft assembly building so I can really push to get mission control done. And then after that, I'm going to need to research some of these boosters because the Vanguard and the Viking are not capable of holding the payloads for either the lunar orbit or the animal in space. And we also have that rocket test pad we can build. And it'll cost 100k, but it's worth it. Here we get the bonus of minus 3% vehicle build cost and plus 1% launch reliability. And that's the best we're going to get because HQ does not have any adjacency bonuses with this. But as you can see, it doesn't just cost 100k if we were to build it there because we also have to pay to remove these obstructions. And so that costs an extra 25k, but it's worth it. We can afford it. And so these obstructions are all over the place. They get in the way and they all cost different amounts of money. From as little as, or I guess that's not little, but, oh yeah, here we go. There's this one which only costs 50k to remove, but then if you look over here at some of these, this one costs $1,500,000 to remove, which is obviously a lot more expensive. But we got the rocket test pad in a good place that's going to be built. In Earth, we have no other missions we can complete yet, but we do have this test launch guidance system test request. So we're going to plan this mission, and this is another sounding rocket mission. So we're going to name this the SR2 because this is our second sounding rocket. And this time it's going to be much more reliable, and it costs roughly the same as it did the first time. So we're going to get that building, and it'll be done in 2 months. Now we're going to progress. Fears over artificial satellite. Following your agency launching the first artificial satellite, several foreign newspapers have claimed the satellite represents a global security threat. The other 4 major space agencies have requested that your agency releases the full specifications of your Explorer payload to prove its scientific purpose and quell public anxiety. Your advisors believe agreeing to the request will improve your reputation with the other agencies, though some agencies may gain science from it. So we share our specifications, everybody's relaxed, and they get to know that we're not spying on anybody and that kind of thing. But they could gain science from it. And so since we want to be the first to everything, because we're NASA, we want to succeed, we're going to reject this request. And so your agency has refused to share the specifications of your Explorer satellite. We should not need to share confidential research in order to prove our peaceful intentions, stated an agency spokesperson. The other agencies reacted negatively to the decision, though local media has praised us for our firm stance, and we gained 100% support even though we lost 15 reputation with the other agencies. And our spacecraft assembly facility research is complete. The spacecraft assembly facility provides a clean room environment to aid the development of complex mission payloads. Okay, we're going to get that building. Unlocks the mission payload reliability training. And so if we build it here, we're going to get... we actually can't afford to build it there because of how expensive these are. If we build it here, we'll get minus 2% vehicle build cost and plus 1 payload reliability. So that is quite a good place to build it. And I think that's what we're going to do. Yeah. And then we have more research to complete. So we're going to go right ahead and put that into mission control. And the SR2 is complete next month. Here we go. Vehicle complete. SR2. Our engineers have reported that launch vehicle construction completed without any notable issues. And so now we're going to head to our launch preparations. And the training facility is not quite done yet, but it will be soon. But until then, we're going to set a launch date. We can't launch in April because it is an invalid launch date. May is a suboptimal launch date, which means we get a minus 20% launch reliability penalty, which means we would have only a 16% reliability. And that wouldn't be good. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to launch in June, which is the earliest date that we can, where it's an optimal launch date. We're going to select that, and we are going to confirm the mission setup. And then we're going to return to the solar system. Next month. Radiation belts discovered. Data from your recent artificial satellite mission has confirmed that belts of trapped radiation surround Earth, shielding the planet from the sun's cosmic rays. And our rocket testpad is complete. Our rocket testpad will allow further and more rigorous vehicle engine tests, resulting in more reliable launches. And this unlocks the mission training launch reliability. So our mission control still has a bit to go. And Earth, we have these few more missions, but we can't accept them yet because we don't have any mission slots available. And that's what we're creating the mission control building for, so we can get more research, more mission slots, and complete more missions at the same time. So if we look at these for Animal in Space, there's still nobody has researched anything. So we're fine. We're in the same boat as them, and same for Lunar Orbit. And so with that, we're going to progress to the next month. Japan has proposed a research exchange. Japan have proposed an exchange of technology research. They are offering to share their research lab research if we share our agency's research of the spacecraft assembly facility. Accepting the offer would unlock the research lab. And so I'm going to agree to this because we don't have the research lab, and that can be quite helpful. And so Japan also gets the spacecraft assembly building that we've researched, but that's okay. And so we've agreed to the research exchange, and we have unlocked the research lab, and we have gained a 20 reputation with Japan. Our spacecraft assembly facility has completed building, and this provides a clean room environment to aid the development of complex mission payloads. And our mission control research is complete as well. Mission control is responsible for the critical phase of a mission after launch, monitoring and issuing commands to a spacecraft. And our research lab research is complete because we got that from Japan. The technological hub of your space agency. The research lab can greatly improve scientific yields for missions. And so as you can probably hear, my voice is getting a little shot. So I'm going to get these building. I'm going to get mission control building first, but we don't have enough money, so we're going to wait on that. And we need to set a research in the meantime. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start researching the Algol, which is the booster that we will use to get to either the moon or the animal in space. And we're going to progress so we get more money. And the launch of our test rocket is also this month. And so we're going to launch the mission with 36% reliability. It's nighttime, but it should be an okay launch. There's no rain or storms or anything, so that's good. Okay, good conditions. That's good. And we have 44% launch reliability. And so we're going to go and hope for a positive event.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
And there we go. Oh, no! So it looks like we had a critical failure. It has exploded in the air. And so, yeah, in-flight engine failure. And our vehicle was destroyed, which means we don't get the science from it. We do, however, get the upgrade to the sounding rocket, in which it will be 15% more reliable, so hopefully this doesn't happen in the future. And our mission has failed. Okay, and because of that, we now don't have as much money, so we are going to have to wait one more month. But in the meantime, we can accept a new one of these. So we can either accept this lucrative solar wind monitoring, which is another satellite, and this will grant us, because it's lucrative, it'll grant us funds instead of the usual rewards, which is support and science. And so although we are a bit short on funds, at this point in the game, it's more important that we get the support and the science. So we are going to plan the orbital radio mission. We're going to build a payload, like always. And so last time it almost went very bad with reduced payload reliability. So I'm just going to stick with a standard payload this time. We're going to build this. We are going to our solar system. We are waiting more time. A rocket science. After analyzing data from your recently failed test launch, researchers have identified several improvements that can be made to your booster technology. Sometimes we learn more when things blow up, a particularly enthusiastic engineer commented, and we gained 150 science for that, so that is helpful. And then our Algol research is also complete, an Earth solid fuel rocket capable of launching payloads into low Earth orbit. And so that's good. And now we can head to research, and I think this is where we're going to wrap up the episode, so that I can leave whichever mission you want us to do up to you guys. So would you rather we complete the lunar orbit mission or the animal in space mission? Just leave a comment in the video and I'll do whichever one gets more votes. It's unlikely that we'll get to do both, at least both early on. So whatever one we choose here is really gonna get us more early on. So I'll read each thing so you know what you're choosing from. The science reward for lunar orbit is 900. The support reward is 250 support. The destination is the moon, obviously. And so, achieving lunar orbit is a challenging endeavor for any space agency, requiring a payload capable of not only reaching the moon, but also the careful course corrections to maintain orbit around it. And we have Animal in Space, which is an 1100 science reward, and only a 150 support reward. And the destination is only Earth orbit. And launching an animal into space provides crucial testing of life support systems without risking astronauts. They can also be sent in smaller spacecraft and don't necessarily need to be brought back to Earth. And so, if we do animal in space, we're going to be leaving poor animals there. But it's in the name of science, and it's in the name of saving human lives. And so, until then, we're going to, since I did not get enough money to build the mission control, we're going to instead just build the research lab so we can get something building. If we put it here, yeah, it looks like there is going to be the best place to build it. where we'll get minus 2% vehicle build cost and minus 3% payload build cost. We're going to build that there. And so we're going to wrap it up here. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm certainly really enjoying this game. So once again, this game is called Mars Horizon. It's available on Steam, Xbox, PlayStation 4, and Nintendo Switch for $20, and I believe right now it's having a launch day sale of 10% off, I believe. And so if you want to pick it up, I'd say go for it. It's really fun. I've certainly been enjoying it, and I'm definitely getting my money's worth out of it. Additionally, I'll have another KSP video with some excitement, although quite a few failures too, coming out either Friday or sometime this weekend from whenever this video is released, which should be Wednesday. And with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to let me know which path you want to see me go down. And if you enjoyed the video, consider leaving a like or a comment or anything. It really helps out the channel, and I appreciate anything you guys do. I appreciate you just for watching this far. So once again, thank you. I hope you enjoy your day. Goodbye.